Welcome every soul, welcome every light. Welcome, beloved souls, each and every one of you who has gathered here today. I want you to know that you are not here by accident. There is a reason you found your way to this space. In a world so full of noise, so full of chaos, this is a place of peace, a place of understanding, and a place where truth is spoken. This is where you will find clarity when everything else seems uncertain. You are safe here, you are loved here, and most importantly, you are seen. I want to ask you a few things, not because I expect an answer right away, but because I want you to reflect deeply on these questions in your heart. Have you ever wondered why some people seem so troubled by your peace? Have you noticed how your calmness disturbs the ones who can't sit still within their own spirit? Why is it that when you're steady and grounded, others seem to tremble at the sight of you? They want what you have, but they don't know how to get it. Yet there are people watching you, not just with their eyes, but with their hearts. They observe the way you carry yourself, the way you move through this world with such grace, such quiet strength, and they're mystified. They see how you remain calm when storms arise, how you hold steady even when life tries to shake you. They admire your ability to walk through chaos without being touched by it. They don't understand it, but they want it. Oh, how they want what you have. They want that peace that you radiate, the light that seems to shine from within you no matter what life throws your way. They crave that strength you possess, the kind of strength that doesn't shout or force itself, but simply is. The kind of strength that's born from something greater, something divine. But here's the truth they don't know. They don't know how you do it. They don't know how you manage to stay so composed, so grounded, so full of light, while they feel lost in their own darkness. They try to find reasons for why they are filled with negativity, why their hearts are burdened with complaints, while yours seems to rest in peaceful silence. They look at you and wonder, why aren't you like them? Why don't you complain? Why don't you join in their loud, chaotic way of living? And here's where it gets uncomfortable for them. They want you to be like them. Oh, how they want you to join them in their complaints, their frustrations, their negativity. They want to hear you speak as they do, loud and full of anger, full of bitterness. Because your silence, your refusal to engage in the noise, makes them uncomfortable. It's easier for them if you would just give in, if you would just join their side. They think, if you'd only start complaining like they do, if you'd start being negative like they are, then maybe they'd feel better about themselves. Misery, as they say, loves company. But here's the thing. They will never have you on their side. That side is not of God. That side is not the frequency of the Holy Spirit. You will never choose that side because you live on God's frequency. You see, you've chosen a different path. You don't live on the frequency of complaint, of negativity, of bitterness. You live on the frequency of God. You are attuned to a higher calling, a deeper purpose, one that they can't understand. And because they don't understand it, it makes them restless. It makes them question themselves. But instead of looking within to find peace, they would rather try to pull you down into their storm. But listen closely, you will never choose their side. You've already chosen. You've chosen to live in the light, to walk in peace, to dwell in the presence of God. And because you've chosen this path, they will never be able to pull you into their chaos. You walk to the rhythm of a different beat, a beat that only the Holy Spirit can provide. Isaiah 26:3 tells us, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." That's the secret they don't know. Your peace isn't something you've just stumbled upon. It's not something you're born with. It's a gift from God, a product of your trust in Him. Your mind is steadfast, anchored in faith, and because of that, your spirit cannot be shaken. You live on God's frequency. What is this frequency? Let's talk about this frequency for a moment. What does it mean to live on God's frequency? It means that your thoughts, your actions, your very being is in tune with His will. It means that you see life through a lens of faith, not fear. It means that you walk in love, not hatred. You speak life, not death. And when challenges arise, you don't panic or fall apart, because you know that God is in control. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." This is the frequency you live on: stillness, peace, confidence in God's sovereignty. While the world around you may be frantic, full of fear and doubt, you remain still. Because you know that the battles are not yours to fight. God fights for you. He guides you. He protects you. But let's take a moment to understand the other side, the frequency they live on. It's a frequency filled with anxiety, worry, and fear. Their thoughts are dominated by negativity, by complaints, by what they don't have rather than what they do. They are constantly looking for something to be angry about, something to criticize, something to pull down. This is the frequency of the world. John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." The peace you have comes from God, not from the world. That's why they can't understand it. The world gives fleeting moments of peace, moments of satisfaction that are quickly snatched away by the next problem, the next crisis. But the peace that comes from God is eternal. It's not dependent on your circumstances. It's not dependent on what's happening around you. It's a peace that surpasses all understanding, Philippians 4:7. And here's the thing. They want that peace, they crave it, they wish they could have it. But they don't know how to get it, because they're too focused on the wrong things. They're too caught up in the negativity, the fear, the complaints. They want to know your secret, but they're unwilling to do what it takes to live on God's frequency. Let me ask you this: what kind of life do you want to live? A life of peace or a life of turmoil? A life of joy or a life of constant complaint? A life of faith or a life of fear? Because the results you get in life are determined by the frequency you choose to live on. Galatians 6:7 tells us, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows." What you put out into the world, what you focus on, what you meditate on, that is what you will receive in return. If you live on the frequency of negativity, that's what you'll attract. If you choose to focus on complaints, on what's wrong, on what's missing, that's what your life will be filled with. But if you choose to focus on God's promises, on His goodness, on His peace, then that's what your life will be filled with. And here's the truth. God gives opportunities every day. He gives them to you, and He gives them to them too. But the difference is, you see them. You recognize them because your eyes are open to the goodness of God. You see His hand in your life. You see the blessings, the open doors, the chances to grow, to love, to succeed. But those who live on the frequency of negativity, they can't see it. All they see is what's wrong. All they see is their misery. And as we know, misery loves company. But not you. You've chosen a different path. You've chosen to live in the light, to walk in the joy of the Lord. And that's why they don't get it. That's why they can't understand you. Your peace bothers them because it reminds them of what they don't have. Misery needs company, but you don't need misery. They want you to join them in their misery. They want you to sit with them in their complaints, their anger, their frustration. But you've chosen differently. You've chosen joy. You've chosen peace. And that choice makes them angry. It makes them uncomfortable. Because deep down they know they could choose differently too, but they're not ready. They're not willing to let go of the negativity, the fear, the bitterness that holds them back. But here's the truth they need to hear, and maybe you do too. God's peace is available to everyone. Every single day, God is offering us opportunities to choose Him, to choose peace, to choose joy. But it's up to us to see it, to reach out and take it. The problem is, they can't stand your presence, your light, your spirit, your strength. It unnerves them, makes them uncomfortable. Because when you walk into the room, they can't hide their own insecurities. You remind them of everything they're not. And that's why they ganged up on you in the first place. It's not about you, it's about what you represent. You represent everything they fear. They fear your power, they fear your wisdom, they fear that they can't control you. But let me remind you of this. No one can dim the light that God placed inside of you. And now they're watching from the shadows, trying to figure out their next move, trying to understand how you're still standing. What they don't realize is that their attacks have only strengthened your foundation. With every challenge, you've grown more resilient, more powerful, more focused. What they meant for harm, God used for your good. You've got something they can never take away, a heart rooted in God's purpose, a spirit aligned with His plan. They can't shake you because they can't touch what the Lord has placed in you. Ephesians 6:12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." The battle you're in is bigger than what you see with your eyes. It's a spiritual battle, and you're winning because you've got heaven's army backing you up. There's a lesson here, and I want you to take it to heart. It doesn't matter how many people stand against you. Numbers mean nothing when God is on your side. You can stand alone in the physical, but in the spiritual, you are surrounded by legions of angels, protected by the Almighty Himself. You are never outnumbered when you stand with God. Here's the final thought I want to leave with you. God gives opportunities to everyone, every single day. The question is, will they take it? Will they choose to let go of their complaints, their negativity, their bitterness, and step into the peace that God offers? Will they choose to walk in the light, or will they continue to live in the darkness of their own negativity? That's a choice only they can make. But as for you, you've already made your choice. You've chosen to live in God's peace, to walk in His light, to dwell on His frequency. And because of that, You are untouchable. Keep walking in the light, my friend. Keep living on God's frequency. And watch as the world around you changes, not because you conform to it, but because you've transformed it with the peace, love, and light of God.